We're back, and we had some Ribby snacks left. So Ribby talked me into one more story, and that's the story of what happened to the dinosaurs. This is probably the most intriguing story of all. So, a long, long time ago. And this time I do really mean a long time ago. I'm talking like over 500 million years ago, which again, compared to the 4.5 billion year history of the Earth, it's not that long ago. But for the first 4 billion years of the Earth, not a lot went on. So, anyway, long story short, 500 million years ago, the Earth began to explode with life. In fact, we even called it the Cambrian explosion. And we had life in the oceans, and we had life on the ground, and we had life everywhere. And then, about 250 million years ago, it was gone. And that ended the Paleozoic era. It was the largest mass extinction ever. About 90% of all marine life and about 75% of all terrestrial life was wiped away. And that ended the Paleozoic era, but it paved the way for the Mesozoic era and probably the most famous mass extinction ever. See, the Mesozoic era was dominated by dinosaurs. They were the most infamous creatures on the planet. And then, about 65 million years ago, just like that, they were gone. Well, I mean, maybe not just like that. I'm pretty sure they didn't just all go to bed Friday night and wake up dead Saturday morning, but you kind of get the idea. And for a long time, nobody really knew why or what happened to the dinosaurs. Now, there were a lot of ideas and a lot of theories and a lot of philosophies on what happened. Things like the plague, or they just starved to death, or there was too much climate change, or there was even one idea where their bodies were too big for their little itty bitty brains to manage. And I hope that's not true, because if I keep eating, my body's going to get way too big for my little itty bitty brain to handle. But anyway, it wasn't until the 1980s when a father son team of geologists kind of started to gather a good piece of evidence for what happened to the dinosaurs. They were kind of like geological CSI guys, if you would. And in our rock record, they found a thin layer of iridium. Now, iridium is Miss Curtis's favorite element. Okay, and iridium's pretty unique because it's extraterrestrial, meaning it's not an element that's naturally occurring on the Earth. It is an element that comes from space. So they found this thin layer of iridium in our rock record that dates back to about 65 million years. And this layer of iridium is often referred to as the KT boundary line between the Cretaceous and the Tertiary periods, meaning below that layer of iridium, there are dinosaur fossils. Above the layer of iridium, no dinosaur fossils. So the working idea became maybe we did get hit by a large rock from space, which transported the iridium to the Earth, and that is what eventually led to the dinosaurs' demise. But even in the 1980s, we still didn't have the smoking gun. It wasn't until about 1991 when we found a large crater called the Chicxulub crater off the Yucatan Peninsula. Okay. This crater was about 120 miles wide and was covered with water, so you can kind of understand why we didn't find it. After further study, we decided that the working theory for what happened to the dinosaurs is a large rock from space, probably about 6 miles wide or so, collided with the Earth and set off a chain of events that eventually led to the end of the dinosaurs. Now, that's not a bad thing because that did pave the way for people like me and you and Ribby and let mammals kind of take over the earth. Now, it was not the largest mass extinction ever, but it was the most famous mass extinction. And I'll tell you what, if I ever get to see you again and I have some Ribby snacks, I will gladly share them with you. But until then, please be smart, be safe, and above all else, be kind.